Ladies and gentlemen, every single day of your life is a battle. Not against the world, not against the people around you, but against yourself, against the excuses you whisper at dawn, against the laziness that waits at noon, against the doubts that strike at midnight. If you are not working on yourself daily, then you are surrendering, silently, without even knowing it. There are 10 things you must commit to every single day, not once a week, not when you feel like it, every single day. Because success is not built in a single moment of greatness, it is built brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. And let me be brutally honest with you, the world doesn't care about your potential. It cares about your results. You don't get remembered for what you could have done. You get remembered for what you actually do. So if you're serious about changing your life, if you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want to silence the voice that tells you not today, then stay with me until the end of this speech, because I am going to hand you the blueprint. 10 things you must work on every single day to win the battles that decide your destiny. Discipline is the foundation upon which every great achievement is built. It is the steel that holds a man steady when the storms of life rage against him. It is the invisible hand that forces you to rise when the bed feels too soft, when the night was too long, and when your body begs for rest. Motivation may light the spark, but discipline keeps the fire alive when the winds of doubt and fatigue try to blow it out. Without discipline, your dreams are nothing more than wishes, fragile, fleeting, and destined to fade. Every morning when you wake up, there is a choice staring you in the face. You can surrender to comfort or you can march toward your duty. Discipline is not glamorous and it is rarely exciting. It is repetition. It is consistency. It is the relentless execution of simple, often boring tasks that seem insignificant in the moment but accumulate into something extraordinary over time. The greatest victories in life are not won on a single day of triumph, but in the countless mornings when you chose to act despite every reason not to. Those who rely on motivation alone will always fall short because motivation is temporary. It fades with the weather. It disappears when life gets hard. It abandons you when failure strikes. But discipline, that is a muscle you train, a fortress you build, a habit that cannot be stolen from you. Motivation may get you to the gym on a good day, but discipline will drag you there when it is pouring rain, when your muscles ache, when your mind screams to quit. Motivation may inspire you to write the first page of your book, but discipline will sit you down every night through frustration and fatigue until the final chapter is written. History does not remember the dreamers. It remembers the disciplined, the soldier who trains relentlessly when no one is watching, the leader who makes the difficult choice when it would have been easy to walk away, the athlete who runs long after the crowd has gone home. Greatness has never been about what you felt like doing. Greatness is about what you did, regardless of how you felt. Discipline is a form of freedom. It liberates you from chaos, from regret, from the crushing weight of unfulfilled potential. When you are disciplined, you do not waste energy negotiating with yourself about what needs to be done. You simply do it. You rise with purpose, you act with clarity, and you finish with certainty. You are no longer a slave to your emotions. You are the master of them. And that mastery is what separates the successful from the forgotten. Think of the man who wants to change his life but waits for motivation. He waits for the perfect moment, the right mood, the wave of inspiration. Days pass, weeks pass, years pass. Nothing changes. Then think of the man who understands discipline. He does not wait. He acts. He stumbles. He struggles. But he shows up every single day. His progress may be slow, but it is progress nonetheless. And with every day of discipline, his strength grows, his habits solidify, and his destiny begins to shift. That man does not hope for success. He ensures it. Discipline is not a punishment, though many see it that way. It is a gift. It is the tool that allows you to transform chaos into order, weakness into strength, and vision into reality. Without discipline, talent is wasted, potential is squandered, and opportunities slip through your fingers. But with discipline, even the most ordinary individual can achieve the extraordinary. Because discipline does not care about where you started. It only cares about how relentlessly you keep moving forward. When you look at the most accomplished men and women in the world, understand this: it was not motivation that carried them to the finish line. It was the daily, often invisible practice of discipline, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices no one applauded, the standards they held themselves to when no one else was around. That is the unseen work that creates the visible results the world admires. Discipline is forged in discomfort. It is born in the moments when you choose the harder path, the stricter path, the path of sacrifice. Comfort is the enemy of discipline, because comfort whispers, "Stay where you are." But discipline demands you rise, move and grow. Comfort tells you, "You've done enough." Discipline answers, "Not yet." Comfort promises you ease today, but discipline promises you greatness tomorrow. And in the end, greatness will always outweigh ease. There will be days when discipline feels heavy, when every step forward feels like walking through mud, when progress feels invisible. Those are the days that matter most. Those are the days that separate the ones who almost made it from the ones who did. Because if you can endure when there is no applause, if you can stay committed when there is no immediate reward, then you are building the type of discipline that nothing can break. It is easy to talk about dreams. It is easy to post about ambition. It is easy to celebrate the idea of success. But none of it matters without the daily execution, without the grind, without the discipline to follow through. Talk is cheap, excuses are endless, but discipline, that is rare. That is the currency of success. You must train yourself to live by discipline as naturally as you breathe. To wake up early when the world sleeps, to push forward when your body begs for rest, to hold yourself accountable when no one else will. You must make discipline not something you do occasionally, but something you embody. Because when discipline becomes who you are, success is no longer a matter of chance. It is inevitable. And here is the truth. One day, life will test you. One day, you will be called to prove whether your dreams were real or just empty wishes. When that day comes, you will not rise to the level of your motivation. You will fall to the level of your discipline. And if you have built it, if you have practiced it, if you have lived it daily, then nothing, no obstacle, no setback, no failure will be able to stop you. Motivation is a moment. Discipline is a lifetime. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Motivation is fragile. Discipline is unbreakable. If you want to achieve anything of value in this life, do not chase motivation. Forge discipline. Because discipline is not just one of the keys to success. It is the master key. And with it, every door can be opened, every battle can be won, and every dream can be brought to life. Health is the foundation upon which every mission in life is carried. Without it, the strongest mind will collapse, the brightest vision will fade, and the greatest ambition will die before it can be realized. Your body is the vessel that carries you through battle, through hardship, through every test this world will throw at you. If that vessel is weak, if it is neglected, if it is ignored, then every other part of your life is built on sand. You cannot lead, you cannot endure, you cannot rise if you are broken from within. Strength of body fuels strength of mind, and both together forge the strength of spirit needed to achieve greatness. Health and fitness are not about vanity. They are not about the mirror, the scale, or the applause of others. They are about discipline, resilience, and readiness. Every push-up you force yourself through, every mile you run, every heavy weight you lift, every healthy meal you choose, these are not small acts. They are declarations of war against weakness. They are signals to your own soul that you refuse to be ordinary, that you refuse to be soft, that you refuse to be caught unprepared. Life will demand everything from you. It will demand long hours, sleepless nights, and relentless endurance. It will not slow down for you. It will not pause because you are tired. If your body cannot keep up, if your health has been ignored, then when life demands strength, you will have nothing to give. Fitness is not a hobby. It is survival. It is not optional. It is necessary. And the ones who ignore it will pay the price when the moment of testing arrives. There is power in the body that is trained daily. A strong body is not just a machine. It is a message. It tells the world you are ready. It tells your mind you can endure. It tells your spirit you are not fragile. That kind of strength cannot be faked. It cannot be borrowed. And it cannot be bought. It must be earned. Earned through sweat, through sacrifice, through the decision to rise when others rest, to move when others stop, to keep going long after comfort has left the room. Health is also about the choices you make outside of the training ground. The food you eat, the rest you allow, the care you give to your body. Every bite you take either fuels you or poisons you.
Every night you stay awake without reason robs you of strength for the battles ahead. Every time you neglect your health, you weaken the one instrument you will need every single day of your life. To abuse your body is to betray yourself. To care for it is to prepare for war. The mind and body are not separate. When you train your body, you train your mind. When you endure pain in the gym, you build endurance for pain in life. When you learn to keep moving under fatigue, you learn to keep moving when everything in life seems against you. The man who is strong physically is also strong mentally, because the habits that built his body also built his resilience. A weak body often carries a weakened mind. A strong body is the home of a disciplined mind. Health is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about showing up every single day, about making the choice to do something, however small, to strengthen the machine that carries your soul. A short run, a few push-ups, a better meal. Consistency over time creates transformation. Do not wait for a crisis to remind you of the value of health. Do not wait for sickness to teach you the worth of fitness. Build it now while you can, so when life calls upon you, you are ready to answer. The world respects strength. It always has. Not because of appearance, but because strength carries with it an aura of readiness. People follow those who look prepared to endure, prepared to fight, prepared to keep going when the path grows difficult. A leader who is unfit, undisciplined, and unhealthy cannot command with the same power as one who radiates strength. Fitness builds confidence, and confidence commands respect. But health and fitness demand sacrifice. They demand waking earlier than you want. They demand pushing harder than you feel like. They demand saying no to indulgence and yes to discipline. They demand sweat, fatigue, and effort that no one else will see. And that is why so few commit to it. It is easier to sit, easier to rest, easier to indulge. But ease never built a warrior. Ease never forged resilience. Ease never created greatness. The harder road, the disciplined road, is the only one that leads to strength. Health is not only about the physical. Fitness is also about balance. A strong heart is of no use if the mind is poisoned by stress, if the spirit is crushed by negativity, if the life you live slowly consumes you from within. True fitness is the union of body, mind, and spirit. To breathe deeply, to rest when you must, to feed your body with strength, your mind with knowledge, your heart with purpose, to be whole, not just strong. When you choose health, you choose freedom. The freedom to move without pain, to live without limits, to face each day knowing your body will not betray you. You choose energy, vitality, endurance. You choose to extend the time you have on this earth, and to make that time count. When you neglect health, you choose chains. Chains of fatigue, chains of sickness, chains of limitation. And once those chains tighten, they are difficult to break. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every mile covered, every healthy choice, it all compounds. It all adds up. It all builds you into someone capable of withstanding not only the struggles of today, but also the storms of tomorrow. The investment you make in your health pays interest for a lifetime, but the debt of neglect compounds just as surely, and the day you can no longer pay it back will come faster than you think. So build a body that can carry the weight of your ambitions. Build lungs that can endure the climb. Build a heart that can withstand the strain. Build legs that can keep moving forward when life pushes you back. Build arms that can lift the burdens others cannot. Build a back strong enough to carry not just yourself, but those who depend on you. Build a body that does not fail you when you need it most. Health and fitness are not simply about living longer. They are about living better. They are about having the strength to chase opportunity, the energy to fulfill your purpose, and the endurance to finish the race you were called to run. A weak body steals that from you. A strong body gives it to you. The choice is yours, and it must be made daily.
Every day you ignore your health, you weaken your future. Every day you invest in your fitness, you strengthen it. And when the final test of life comes, and it will come, you will not rise to your dreams. You will not rise to your hopes. You will not rise to your potential. You will rise, or you will fall, to the level of the strength you built into your body. Health is not a side mission. It is the mission. Because without it, every other battle is already lost. The mind is the battlefield where every victory and every defeat is decided, long before action ever takes place. What you think, what you allow to live in your head will shape the reality you walk through. A weak mindset will break the strongest body, but a strong mindset can carry you through trials that would crush almost anyone else. Mastering your mind is not an option, it is a necessity. Because the truth is this: your greatest enemy is not the world, It is not the people who doubt you. It is not the circumstances that stand in your way. Your greatest enemy is the voice inside your head that tells you to stop, that whispers you are not enough, that convinces you to give less than everything. If you do not control that voice, it will control you. Mindset mastery begins with awareness. You must know what lives inside your head. You must know the stories you tell yourself. You must know the doubts, the fears, the excuses that circle in your mind like vultures waiting for weakness. If you are blind to them, they will consume you. But if you face them, if you confront them, if you take control of them, then you take away their power. The mind once mastered becomes the greatest weapon a human being can possess. The most dangerous man is not the one with the greatest strength. It is the one who refuses to break mentally. The one who can take failure and not be crushed by it. The one who can take pain and not be defeated by it. The one who can face fear and move forward anyway. That kind of mindset is unshakable. And once you develop it, you are unstoppable. Pain will come, but it will not control you. Failure will strike, but it will not define you. Obstacles will rise, but they will not stop you. Obstacles will rise, but they will not stop you. Because you will have trained your mind to see through them, to find the path forward, to stay relentless no matter the circumstance. Mastering your mindset requires discipline, but it also requires belief. You must believe in something greater than your current struggle. You must believe in your ability to grow, to adapt, to overcome. Without belief, you will quit at the first sign of hardship. With belief, you can endure storms that would break almost anyone else. Belief does not mean arrogance. It does not mean ignoring reality. It means holding on to a truth stronger than the lies of fear. It means carrying hope like a weapon, even when the world tries to strip it from you. The mind is like a muscle. It strengthens through struggle. It grows through resistance. Every time you push yourself past what you thought was possible, your body adapts and your mind expands. Every time you silence doubt and act anyway, you rewire your brain to choose courage over fear. Every time you fall and rise again, you carve into your mind the truth that you cannot be broken. This is how mindset mastery is built. Not in moments of ease, but in moments of pressure. The fire of adversity forges the steel of the mind, but the mind must also be guarded. What you feed it becomes what you believe. Surround yourself with weakness, and weakness will creep into your thinking. Surround yourself with strength, and strength will shape your thoughts. The books you read, the words you speak, the people you listen to, all of these are fuel for the mind. Garbage in, garbage out. Power in, power out. If you want a resilient mind, feed it with knowledge, with truth, with discipline, with stories of courage and endurance. Because whatever you allow inside will eventually come out when life tests you. Negativity is poison. Doubt is poison. Self-pity is poison. Once it takes root, it spreads. You cannot afford to entertain it. When weakness speaks, you must silence it. When fear rises, you must face it. When doubt whispers, you must drown it out with truth. This is mindset mastery, not the absence of fear, not the absence of weakness, but the ability to master it, to silence it, to act in spite of it. The world belongs to those who refuse to be ruled by their own minds. Every battle begins in thought. The soldier who believes he will lose has already lost. The man who convinces himself he cannot endure has already surrendered. The athlete who doubts before the race has already failed. But the one who believes, the one who trains his mind to see possibility instead of limitation, the one who faces difficulty with the thought "I will not break," that man wins before he even begins. There will be days when your mind is your greatest burden. Days when your body still has strength but your thoughts betray you. When your heart wants to fight but your head tells you it is over. Those are the days where mindset mastery is most important. Those are the days you must push past the noise, past the fear, past the excuses, and prove to yourself that you are stronger than the voice trying to hold you back. Every time you win that fight, you gain power. Every time you silence weakness, you strengthen your mind, and over time that strength becomes unshakable. Mindset mastery is not about pretending life is easy. It is about facing life knowing it will be hard and choosing to fight anyway. It is about accepting pain, accepting failure, accepting difficulty, and refusing to let any of it stop you. It is about standing tall when the weight of the world is on your shoulders and saying, I am not done. That is the kind of mindset that builds legends. That is the kind of mindset that carries men through the darkest nights and the fiercest battles. Your body may be limited. Circumstances may be limited. Opportunities may be limited. But the mind, when mastered, knows no limits. It can endure. It can adapt. It can create. It can overcome. When the body fails, the mind can keep moving. When resources run out, the mind can find solutions. When the world says you cannot, the mind can say, watch me. That is the difference between those who achieve and those who surrender. But mindset mastery does not happen once. It must be built daily. Every day you must choose discipline over weakness, truth over lies, courage over fear. Every day you must face yourself because the battle never ends. You may win today, but tomorrow the voice will return, and you must be ready to fight it again. That is the work of mastery, not a single victory but a lifetime of victories, one moment by moment, choice by choice. The men and women who leave a mark on this world all share one thing: they mastered their minds. They refused to be ruled by doubt, by fear, by failure. They trained themselves to see beyond pain, to rise above difficulty, to hold on when everyone else let go. They became unshakable, and because of that they became unstoppable. You can be the same, but only if you choose to master the one thing that will decide everything: the voice inside your head. It will not be your circumstances that define your life. It will not be your resources, your background, or even your talent. It will be your mindset. Because mindset is the lens through which you see the world, the filter through which you face challenge, the engine that powers your every action. Master it, and nothing can break you. Ignore it, and even the smallest obstacle will defeat you. So train your mind as you would train your body. Feed it strength, expose it to resistance, guard it against poison, and push it past its limits. Make it sharp, make it strong, make it unshakable. Because when everything else is stripped away, when the lights go out, when the odds are against you, when failure surrounds you, the one thing that will decide whether you rise or fall is your mindset. And if you have mastered it, you will rise every single time. Knowledge is the weapon that never dulls, the currency that never loses its value, the force that can transform the weakest man into someone capable of leading nations. Continuous learning is not a choice. It is the duty of anyone who seeks to grow, who seeks to lead, who seeks to endure. The world changes every single day, and those who refuse to learn, those who cling to what they already know, are left behind. But the ones who commit to learning, the ones who read, who listen, who observe, who study, not just in school, not just in books, but in life itself, those are the ones who adapt. Those are the ones who thrive. Those are the ones who cannot be stopped. Learning is not about collecting information for the sake of knowing. It is about sharpening your mind like a blade, preparing yourself for battles you have not yet faced, equipping yourself for challenges you cannot yet see. Every piece of knowledge, every new skill, every lesson earned through failure becomes another tool in your arsenal. And in the moments when life tests you, when you are stretched to your limits, you will draw from that arsenal. If you have filled it with nothing, you will have nothing to fight with. But if you have filled it with knowledge, with wisdom, with understanding, you will have everything you need to endure. The greatest leaders, the strongest warriors, the most accomplished men and women in history, all shared one truth: they never stopped learning. They were students until the day they died, because they understood that no man has ever mastered everything. No mind has ever reached the limits of knowledge. The moment you stop learning is the moment you begin to die. The mind, like the body, weakens when it is not challenged, when it is not fed, when it is not pushed beyond what it already knows. Continuous learning demands humility. You must admit that you do not know enough, that you will never know enough, that there is always someone who has mastered something you have not. Pride is the enemy of learning. The man who believes he knows everything learns nothing. The man who knows he has more to learn will grow without limit. Humility opens the door to wisdom because it makes you willing to listen, to observe, to ask, to seek, and those who seek always find. But learning is not only found in books, it is found in the scars of failure, in the lessons of pain, in the wisdom of those who walked before you. Every failure carries a lesson. Every hardship carries a truth. Every mistake teaches you something if you are willing to see it.
The unwise man fails and complains. The wise man fails and learns. And the one who learns from failure will always rise stronger than before. Continuous learning also requires action. Knowledge without application is wasted potential. It is a soldier carrying a weapon but refusing to fight. Learning must be tested. What you study must be practiced. What you know must be used. Only then does knowledge become wisdom. Only then does information become transformation. A man who reads endlessly but never acts is no better than the man who never read at all. But a man who learns, acts, adjusts, and learns again becomes unstoppable. The hunger for learning separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Most people stop learning once they have achieved a certain level of comfort. They think they know enough. They settle, and slowly they decline. But the few, the disciplined, the relentless, they never stop seeking. They know that the world does not stand still, that life does not remain the same, that new challenges are always coming, so they stay ready, always sharpening, always improving, always preparing. And because of that, they are never caught unprepared. Learning must become a daily habit, as natural as breathing. Read every day, even if only a few pages. Listen every day, even if only a few minutes. Reflect every day, even if only a short moment. Learn from those above you, from those beside you, and even from those below you. Everyone knows something you do not. Every person, every situation, every hardship carries knowledge, and the wise man extracts it. The fool ignores it. Continuous learning also means questioning yourself, asking if there is a better way, seeking improvement even when things are already working. It means refusing to settle for good enough, refusing to believe you have arrived, refusing to allow arrogance to blind you to new possibilities. The man who is always learning is always evolving. The man who is always evolving can never be broken, because he adapts faster than the world can strike him down. Knowledge builds confidence. When you know, you move with certainty. When you understand, you act with clarity. Fear thrives in ignorance, but knowledge starves it. The unknown is terrifying until you learn. The impossible is overwhelming until you study. The overwhelming becomes manageable. The complex becomes simple. The uncertain becomes clear. All through learning. Knowledge turns fear into strategy, weakness into strength, confusion into direction. Continuous learning is also about vision. When you learn, you expand your perspective. You begin to see not just where you are, but where you can go. You begin to see not just problems, but solutions. You begin to see not just limits, but opportunities. And once your vision expands, your life expands. Because you can never achieve what you cannot see. And learning allows you to see farther than you ever could before. But learning requires effort. It requires time. It requires sacrifice. It is easier to stay comfortable, to entertain yourself, to waste hours in distraction. It is harder to sit down, to focus, to study, to engage with something that challenges you. And that is why so few truly commit to it. But those who do, those who sacrifice distraction for growth, who trade entertainment for education, become the ones who rise. They may not see the results immediately, but over time knowledge compounds. What you learn today may not matter now, but one day when life calls for it, you will have the answer, the skill, the wisdom others do not. And that will make all the difference. Continuous learning is the key to survival. It is the difference between relevance and irrelevance, between progress and stagnation, between victory and defeat. The world belongs to the learners. It always has. It always will. Because while others sleep, they study. While others complain, they seek
solutions. While others settle, they advance. And when the moment comes, when the test arrives, they are ready because they prepared. So never stop learning. Read, listen, watch, ask, reflect, grow. Make it as much a part of your life as eating, as breathing, as moving. Because your mind, like your body, must be trained, must be fed, must be strengthened. And the man who trains his mind daily, who feeds it with knowledge, who sharpens it with discipline, becomes a force that nothing can stop. Continuous learning is not just a habit. It is a way of life. It is the mark of the relentless. It is the path of those who refuse to remain the same, who refuse to settle, who refuse to stop. It is the commitment to rise every day, not just stronger but wiser. And in the end, wisdom is the greatest strength you can ever carry. Resilience and grit are the traits that separate those who dream from those who achieve. Those who start from those who finish. Those who talk about greatness from those who live it. Life is not designed to be easy. It will test you. It will knock you down. It will strip away your comfort, your security, your confidence. It will place obstacles in your path that seem immovable, storms that seem endless, losses that feel unbearable. Most will fall under that weight. Most will surrender when the pressure becomes too heavy. But the few who rise again, the few who endure, the few who refuse to break, those are the ones who leave a mark on the world. That is resilience. That is grit. Resilience is the ability to take the hit and keep moving. It is the refusal to allow failure to define you, the refusal to allow pain to stop you, the refusal to allow setbacks to break you. Everyone will fail at some point. Everyone will face loss, disappointment, betrayal, defeat. The difference is simple. Some stay down and some rise again. The ones who rise are the ones who win. Not because they were never knocked down, but because they were never willing to stay there. Grit is the long game. It is the endurance to keep fighting long after the excitement is gone, long after the motivation has faded, long after the pain has set in. Grit is staying on the path when every step hurts, when every part of you wants to quit, when every voice around you says it is impossible. It is the stubborn, unshakable decision that no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you fail, you will not stop until you reach the end. The world is filled with talented people who never made it because they lacked resilience. It is filled with brilliant minds who quit when things became difficult. It is filled with men and women who could have been great but they surrendered too early. Talent will take you only so far. Intelligence will take you only so far. Opportunity will take you only so far. Resilience and grit will carry you the rest of the way. Because in the end, it is not the smartest or the strongest who succeed. It is the ones who refuse to give up. Resilience is built in adversity. It is forged in the fires of hardship. You cannot develop it in comfort. You cannot learn it when everything is easy. You learn it when you fall, when you fail, when you are broken, when you are tested beyond what you thought you could endure. Every time you rise after failure, you grow stronger. Every time you push forward through pain, you grow tougher. Every time you endure when you want to quit, you become more resilient. Slowly, brick by brick, experience by experience, you build an unbreakable foundation. Grit is not glamorous. It does not shine in the spotlight. It lives in the shadows of hard work, in the lonely hours when no one is watching, in the quiet struggles no one else will ever see. Grit is not about the celebration of victory. It is about the determination during the process. It is about showing up day after day, doing the work, enduring the grind, carrying the burden, knowing the reward may not come for years. That is why grit is rare. It is hard. But those who possess it cannot be denied. Resilience and grit also require perspective. You must understand that failure is not the end. It is part of the journey. Pain is not punishment. It is preparation. Setbacks are not signals to stop. They are signals to grow. When you see hardship not as something that destroys you but as something that builds you, you become unshakable. Most people run from pain. They hide from failure. They avoid struggle. But those who are resilient embrace it. They know it is shaping them, sharpening them, preparing them for what lies ahead. Life will break you if you let it. It will grind you down until you are unrecognizable. But resilience allows you to bend without breaking, to fall without staying down, to suffer without surrendering. It allows you to look at the darkest night and know that morning will come. It allows you to face impossible odds and know that you will find a way through. It allows you to lose everything and still hold on to the one thing that matters most, the will to keep going. Grit is the ability to outlast. To keep running when others have stopped. To keep climbing when others have turned back. To keep fighting when others have surrendered. Success does not always belong to the fastest or the strongest. It belongs to the one who refuses to quit. The one who stays in the race when everyone else has walked away. The one who keeps swinging until the final bell. That is grit. That is the difference between almost and accomplished. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It is about facing it head on. It is not about pretending you are unbreakable. It is about knowing you can be broken but choosing to rise again anyway. It is about scars, not untouched skin. It is about lessons learned the hard way, not the easy way. It is about courage in the face of fear, strength in the face of weakness, hope in the face of despair. The resilient do not live lives free of pain. They live lives stronger because of it. Grit is not about sudden bursts of energy or short moments of motivation. It is about consistency. It is about the daily choice to keep going, to keep working, to keep pushing forward. It is about persistence, so steady and so relentless that eventually the obstacles fall, the walls crumble, the goals are reached. It is not speed that matters most, it is endurance. The world does not reward those who start strong, it rewards those who finish strong. Together, resilience and grit form an unstoppable force. Resilience allows you to rise from every fall. Grit allows you to keep moving no matter how long the road. Resilience gives you strength in the moment. Grit gives you strength over time. One without the other is incomplete. Together, they build individuals who cannot be defeated, who cannot be broken, who cannot be stopped. There will come a day when everything in you wants to quit. When the weight feels unbearable, when the pain feels endless, when the fight feels impossible, that is the day resilience and grit will matter most. That is the day you will decide who you truly are. And if you have built them, if you have trained them, if you have lived them, you will rise, you will endure, you will keep going, and you will win, not because it was easy, but because you refused to quit. Resilience and grit are not about talent, not about intelligence, not about luck. They are about will, the will to endure, the will to rise, the will to keep moving forward no matter the cost. And the one who possesses that will can achieve anything. Because life may knock you down, but if you are resilient, you will rise again. Life may drag out the journey, but if you have grit, you will finish it. And when you rise, and when you finish, there will be nothing left that can stand in your way. Leadership and influence are not given by rank, position, or title. They are earned through action, through presence, through the way you live and the way you carry yourself each and every day. True leadership is not about standing above others, it is about standing with them, guiding them, and showing them the way forward. Influence is not about demanding respect, it is about earning it through consistency, integrity, and strength of character. In a world where voices are loud and authority is often assumed rather than proven, leadership and influence stand as the true measures of those who can shape the course of others' lives. A leader does not need to announce they are in charge. Their actions speak long before their words. People follow those who live what they preach, who set the standard by example, who hold themselves accountable to the same rules they expect from others. Leadership is about responsibility, not privilege. It is about putting others before yourself, about carrying the burden when others cannot, about being the steady hand when chaos surrounds you. The leader does not collapse when pressure rises, they rise with it. They do not look for escape when challenges grow. They embrace them, because they know their example will set the tone for everyone else. Influence is not control. It is not manipulation. It is not fear. Influence is built on trust. When people believe in your word, when they know your actions match your promises, when they see that you are willing to sacrifice for something greater than yourself, they will follow you willingly. Influence is quiet power, but it is the most powerful of all. You cannot demand it, you must earn it. And once you earn it, it does not fade quickly. It lasts, because it is rooted in respect and authenticity. Leadership also requires courage. The courage to make decisions when the path is uncertain. The courage to stand firm when others waver. The courage to face criticism, opposition, and resistance, knowing that leadership is not about being liked, it is about doing what is right. A true leader is not swayed by the winds of opinion. They do not bend to please the crowd. They hold the line, even when it costs them comfort, even when it costs them popularity. Because leadership is not about serving yourself, it is about serving a mission, a cause, a team, a future. Influence grows strongest when it comes from humility. Arrogance weakens it. Pride destroys it, but humility strengthens it beyond measure. The leader who listens as much as they speak, who learns as much as they teach, who respects those they lead as much as they expect respect in return, that is the leader who builds influence that endures. People do not follow leaders who claim perfection. They follow leaders who are real, leaders who admit mistakes, leaders who learn and adapt. Humility does not weaken authority.
It reinforces it, because it proves that leadership is not about ego, it is about purpose. A leader must also master discipline. Without discipline, leadership collapses. You cannot ask others to give their best if you are not giving yours. You cannot demand sacrifice if you live in comfort. You cannot speak of hard work if you avoid it. Influence dies when words are not matched by action. The greatest leaders are the ones who set the standard so high that those who follow them cannot help but rise to it. Discipline is contagious. When a leader lives with it, those around them absorb it. They see it, they feel it, and they adapt to it. Leadership is less about orders and more about example. The disciplined leader influences without needing to speak, because their life is the message. Leadership is also about vision. To lead others, you must see beyond the moment. You must see beyond the fear, beyond the uncertainty, beyond the temporary struggles. You must paint a picture of what can be, of what must be, of what lies ahead if the team holds the course. Vision is what inspires people to push beyond their limits. Vision is what allows people to endure hardship, because they know the struggle is not wasted, that it leads somewhere greater. Influence flows naturally from those who see what others cannot, and who show the way forward through action and conviction. But leadership is not easy. It demands sacrifice. It demands sleepless nights, difficult choices, and the willingness to carry burdens no one else can see. Leadership will cost you comfort, and sometimes it will cost you relationships. It will place you in positions where the right choice is also the hardest choice. It will force you to stand alone when everyone else walks away. But if you are willing to endure that cost, if you are willing to carry that responsibility, the reward is immeasurable. The knowledge that your life lifted others, that your example changed them, that your influence outlived you. Influence does not only shape teams, organizations, or communities. It shapes families, friendships, generations. Every act of leadership, every display of courage, every example of integrity sends ripples into the world. Someone is always watching. Someone is always learning. Someone is always being influenced. The question is whether your influence builds or destroys, whether your leadership uplifts or diminishes, whether your example inspires or discourages. That choice belongs to you. Great leadership and lasting influence require resilience, patience, and the refusal to compromise your values. They require you to stand tall in storms, to hold steady in uncertainty, to remain grounded when success tempts you toward arrogance. They require daily work, because leadership is not a single moment. It is a lifelong practice. Influence is not a gift you receive once. It is something you must reinforce every day, through your actions, your words, your consistency. People do not remember titles. They do not remember authority for its own sake. They remember the leaders who lifted them when they were down, who stood firm when everything fell apart, who showed them what was possible when they believed there was nothing left to give. They remember influence that made them better, that called them to rise, that left them stronger than before. That is what endures. Leadership and influence are not about power. They are about service. They are about responsibility. They are about the quiet strength of living a life that inspires others to rise to their best. When you carry yourself with integrity, when you lead with courage, when you influence with humility, you create something that lasts far beyond your own life. You build a legacy. You become not just someone who led, but someone who made others believe they could lead too. And that is the ultimate power of leadership and influence. Not that it raises you above others, but that it raises others with you.
Purpose and legacy are the anchors of a meaningful life. Without them, you may succeed in gathering wealth. You may climb ladders. You may even be celebrated for fleeting achievements. But at the end of it all, you will feel hollow. Purpose is what gives direction to your days. It is what wakes you in the morning with fire in your chest. It is what sustains you when fatigue creeps in and the world feels heavy. Legacy is the echo of that purpose, the mark you leave on the lives you touched, the memory of how you lived, not just what you achieved. To live every day without purpose is to drift aimlessly through existence, and to die without leaving a legacy is to vanish as though you never walked this earth. Every man and woman is born with a calling, but not all answer it. Too many ignore the whispers of purpose because it demands sacrifice, it demands focus, it demands that you step away from comfort and mediocrity. Purpose does not present itself as luxury. It often arrives as responsibility. It calls you to serve something greater than yourself, to endure pain, to stay disciplined, to refuse the easy path. When you embrace it, life transforms. Struggles are no longer meaningless, pain is no longer wasted, and victories carry weight because they connect to something bigger than your own gain. Legacy is the story that will be told when you are gone. It is not about fame or fortune, it is about impact. It is not measured in possessions, but in the difference you made in the lives of others. Legacy is not a monument of stone, but a monument of influence, of values, of the example you lived.